So it is an AoE, which is nice. It does have a bit of... My bunnies. Hey you guys, it's Cece. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're playing some Raid Shadow Legends and we are going to be talking about the new fusion coming into the game. She is going to be a legendary champion, but I actually have a free legendary champion for you guys if you are a new player who wants to play Raid Shadow Legends. All you need to do is download the game using my link down below or scanning the QR code on the screen. And being a new player, you're going to start your account off with Elenaril on day 1, who is a legendary. She will be in your inbox. And once you reach level 25, you're also going to get Uugo, which is an awesome epic, and will make your journey into the game that much easier. The new fusion we're getting is going to be Lady Noelle. She does enter the game on December the 16th, and she is going to be a Void Legendary. Now, this is something I'm curious about. Comment down below and let me know if you've been lucky enough to summon any Void Legendaries. I do feel like they're harder to come by in terms of getting Void Shards and actually being able to pull Legendaries from. So it is cool that she is going to be a part of that Void. And something to note is she's also a companion to Sir Nicholas. So this is going to be one of those champions that has a companion, which means some of the skills may actually go together and strengthen. So she is a support type, which is what we're going to expect to see from her skills. Let's start with her skill 1. So Ice Crack Staff is going to attack an enemy, have an 80% chance of placing a block buff debuff for 2 turns, also decreases their turn meter by 20% if they're under a freeze debuff. And something to note is if you actually have Sir Nicholas on the same team, then this cannot be resisted. Something that's nice in that skill 1, and like I said, something that does get strengthened by having them on that same team. Her second skill does target an ally, and if the ally is actually under a sheep debuff, it's going to remove it. If they're not under that sheep debuff, instead, it's going to remove all the debuffs from them instead. But it also heals them by 50% of this champion's max HP. And the nice thing is it also heals all allies to 50% of any surplus heals. So regardless, she's going to have some type of a cleanse in there, but she's also going to have the heal in there, which is great. Now, if the target ally is actually Sir Nicholas, it's going to instantly activate his Goodwill skill, but then it also places that 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. And with this being a 5-turn cooldown, you're actually going to be able to bring it down to 3 if you end up putting some of those skill tomes into here. So regardless, it's nice to have some type of a cleanse skill. She does have a bit of a heal in there as well. And the fact that you have that skill Sir Nicholas already included in her skill 1 and her skill 2 is interesting. Now let's move on to her skill 3. This one is actually a revive. So it revives all dead allies with 50% HP and 50% turn meter. So she does have a revive in there, which is great, but also has a 75% chance of placing a freeze debuff on all enemies for a turn. It's going to place that freeze debuff even if there's no dead allies. This debuff cannot be resisted or blocked if Sir Nicholas is on the same team. And again, 5-turn cooldown, you can bring it down to 3. Now, something to note is she's talking about the freeze. You have Sir Nicholas, it's not going to be resisted. Think about skill 1 again now. So now, if you manage to use your skill 3, you have Sir Nicholas, they're frozen. Now you're going to decrease their turn meter by 20% as well because of that skill 1. So, kind of interesting. Now, her passive decreases the speed of enemies under the freeze debuff by 10%. So again, if you're using that skill 3, you have Sir Nicholas. It's a guaranteed freeze. You're going to decrease their speed by 10, and when a sheep debuff expires on an ally, it's going to fill their turn meter by 50%. If there are multiple champions on a team with the skill, the effects will only activate once, which we are aware of. So we're seeing that sheep debuff kind of come back in here with the passive as well. And her aura does increase speed in all arena battles by 30%. With that aura, obviously she's being geared towards arena, but looking overall at all of her skills, I like her revive. I think it is actually pretty strong and I could see the use with her. Now, keep in mind, I am a newer player to the game, so my roster is not very full. I'm missing tons and tons of champions. So it might actually vary for you guys versus me, where she is going to fill a role and I want to get her. I already have Sir Nicholas, so it makes sense for me to try to go for her as well so I can test them out together. Now, the question is, if we're putting her on a team, and obviously you want to have Sir Nicholas to make her skills stronger, we're taking a slot away from somebody else. So I think it only makes sense to go look at Sir Nicholas's skills and see how that fits. Sir Nicholas is also a Void Legendary. He is an HP type, and something to note is we're not going to see anything in his skills with Lady Noelle because he was already in the game before she was. I do think it's interesting that they're actually not changing his skills at all, though. They're kind of keeping them the same. And learning that as soon as I had him, I actually got him before he came into the game. And people are like, oh, Lady Noelle is coming. So I was kind of excited because they're companion units. And usually with the companion, you'll see their skills go together. I do think it's interesting to note that they're actually not changing his skills at all. So let's look over them quick. His aura increases ally HP in all battles by 33%. First skill is going to attack an enemy. You have the chance of placing a freeze debuff. The debuff cannot be resisted. His second skill is an AoE attacking all enemies and placing a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns. The value of the shield is equal to 30% of the damage inflicted. And then his third skill, this is the one that I do really like. It places an unkillable buff and a 15% continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns, which can be brought down to a 4-turn cooldown. So as I said, I got him before he came into the game, and I've been enjoying using him so far. But looking at his skills, I'm just surprised that they're actually not changing them to have Lady Noelle brought in. I want you to comment down below and let me know. Did you also think that they would change Sir Nicholas's skills to include some things with Lady Noelle? Is this something that surprised you? So I have Sir Nicholas. I've been using him for a bit, and personally, I am enjoying him. I don't have a ton of different legendary champions, so I was actually excited when I pulled him. I've been using him, and I'm excited to also try to get Lady Noelle to use them together. Again, I'm just surprised that they haven't changed his skills at all to include her. But for myself, I was mainly using him in dungeons. I wasn't really using him in arena. Once I get Lady Noelle, the plan is definitely to test them out and then try them in the arena. So be sure that you subscribe so you don't miss out on that video where I actually do test them out. Keep in mind, they do have the Yuletide Titan event going on right now, where if you reach that 5th milestone, you will be able to actually get Sir Nicholas if you're able to get enough of those snow points. And again, they do give you a little bit more than you need from all the events and everything. So there might be some that you can skip out on, but keep in mind that following him is going to be the fusion event to try to get Lady Noelle. So there's going to be a lot of work involved between both of those events. So to answer the question earlier, if it is viable to use him in an arena team, I could definitely see it working. You would definitely have to set your team up so you're able to utilize mainly him and Lady Noelle. It is something I'm going to have to actually test out in real time to see if that's actually the case. I personally am still excited for both of them. I am going to try to obviously get her and actually try her out and test everything. So I'm excited we actually got to see her skills. I do think she's got some viable skills in there because she does fill a role for me that I don't currently have from a champion. That is it for today's video. So I do want to hear from you guys. Let me know, comment down below all your thoughts on Lady Noelle. Be sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on when I actually go ahead and grab her and test her out and see how things go in terms of gear and progression. And I will see you guys next time. Bye! Next level.